Today what I'm going to be doing is going over an overview of rebuilding a 246 transfer case. I had done a bunch of research on YouTube with Eric the Car Guy, Spelunkered, Brian, it wasn't Brian, it was Bronco Carl, 92, and they were great videos. I learned a lot from them. And so I was just going to drop it and take it apart and rebuild it. And I had emailed Spelunkered and asked him, I was having a hard time taking that first C-clip off to get the housing off. And I asked him what size pliers he used. And he said he had wished somebody did a complete video of the whole rebuilding. So I decided to go out and buy a webcam and a couple other things and videotape this whole rebuild. So here we go. This will be the beginning. I will show you all the tools necessary for rebuilding. I already have taken the transfer case out, but I'll take you under the truck and show you what I did. Eric the Car Guy had a great suggestion in taking off the transmission support, which I did, and it was a lot easier getting at the nuts, especially the top one. The nuts weren't even a problem. So what I'll do is I'll go over some of the tools. I don't have all my parts yet. Hopefully they'll come today. I'm still waiting for the bearings, the chain, and that pump housing. So let's begin. Okay, my 2000 Tahoe 5.3 4x4. I started getting a clunk when I put it in drive and reverse. So the first thing I thought of course, was the universal joints are going bad. It has happened to me before. So I took off my drive shafts, and I bought this tool, I showed you before, for like 60 bucks to take off the universal joints. This part fits on one, and then you screw this in there. And then you hook up your impact wrench and you just plow right through these things. My front drive shaft still had the original universals on there, so they seal them in plastic. So what I did is I had drilled out the little holes and then heated it up with the torch and then pushed them out. I put new universals in there, greased them up, put them back in the truck. I still had the clunk, so that wasn't it. Unfortunately, I had done a bunch of research on the internet, watching Eric the Car Guy and Spelunkered and Bronco Carl 92 in automotive forums all over the internet, and everybody was telling me it was the slip yoke. So I had greased up. I got some heavy marine grease and greased up the spines, put it back in there, and still at the clunk. I also, my four-wheel service light was on, and I had read in the forums that the 4-button push-button automatic shifter had bad solder joints in it. So I went on eBay and bought one. I think it was from Dorman for maybe 30 bucks or so. And I put that in, and it got rid of the light. So that was good. And I also had a NP246, which was an EVAP sensor, and I had replaced the rear sensor. They had a kit that you could buy because they upgraded it. The kit was like 130 bucks, and you had to reroute the filter up on top of the transmission. And I didn't want to do that, so I found the old style on eBay for $14. So I plugged it back in and erased the code, and it hasn't come back yet. So that's good. So once I did all that, and I found out this wasn't it, and I was under the car, and I was moving the drive shafts, and I was hearing the clunk. A lot of the forums were telling me that it was the clutch pack, that the little C-ring on there was defective, and it moved and burnt out the clutch packs. But I also had 204,000 miles on this truck, and I've driven all over the United States. Back when I had a motorcycle, I used to trailer it around and stuff, so I have used this car a lot. and it's a a phenomenal truck, and hopefully I'll get another 100,000 miles out of it. So it was either the clutch pack was bad, the universals, which are fine now, and there was something else. The pump. It wears away inside of the transfer case. So I got ordered a new pump with a protective cover that you put over the transfer case. Um, so that was good. When I was watching that Spelunker's, I hope I'm saying his name right, video on when he took off his transfer case. At the end, he had one of those, if I had to do it all over again, this is what I would do. And he showed a lift with a 2x6 on it or something to help bring his transfer case. He actually used a transmission jack, but I didn't want to pay the $100. So what I did is I fabricated one, and I had taken off this little support thing for my 3-ton AC Delco jack, knocked out the little pin holding it in so I could completely take it off, grabbed a 2x8, cut it to length, and then I used a hole saw here. I think it was a 4-inch hole saw, cut it in half so this held underneath the front drive shaft, and this part also held the front of the transfer case. It was great, man. What a godsend. I took it off and lowered it down, slid it back, started lowering it down, and it was, angled like this. And I went back to lower it just a little more, because I'm just doing a little bit at a time, And it got down to about here, and then it just slid right off and hit the concrete pretty hard. So I was like, oh, man, I hope I didn't crack that thing. But what it did, it hit the nut on the electronic speed shifter. And so there was no damage. The nut was just a little bit scratched, so I lucked out there completely. Yeah, I want to thank Spelunker for that tip. It worked out great. I might fabricate this a little bit more when I put it back up because, I think I'm going to have to shove the back up on the, what is that, whatever support there is there, and then you have the tension bar support there. I don't want to take that tension bar thing off. I might have to. It might be easier, but what I want to do is just slip it back in there, slide this underneath the transfer case, and then slowly jack it up. And once I get it stable, then I can lift and maneuver it and just slip it right in there without, manhandling the thing like Eric, the car guy, did. I mean, he ripped that thing off. If I was 20 years younger, I'd do that, but I'm not. My body hurts, my back hurts, my knee hurts, everything hurts. So the older you get, the easier you try to make things. And yeah, it worked out great. I routed out this part so this sat flush, and I just got to tweak that a little bit, and hopefully, I'll get it back up there. And that's it. There are some of the tools that I had to buy. Most of these I got at Harbor Freight. They were pretty reasonably priced. I bought a half-inch impact. I think it was $40, maybe $50. Great tool. I used to have a DeWalt. It was like $150, and then somebody stole it, so I bought that one, and so far so good. It's worked out excellent. This 4-wheel drive ball joint service kit, I think it was maybe $60. I used it to take out my universals of my drive shaft. Great tool, well worth every penny of it. This I haven't used yet. It's a bearing seat. It was, I think, $30, and I remember watching Bronco Carl 92 use that to seat some of the bearings. And this 3-jaw pilot bearing puller I just purchased. Bronco Carl also uses to pull out one of the pilot bearings, but the little tabs here look pretty thick. I don't know if I'll be able to get underneath it with it or not. I've never done it before, so we'll see. Hopefully that works out. And you know, you always need your torch just in case you need some heat. Of course, brake cleaner. Got a couple cans of that, and then I have my gasket seal for the transfer case. 15 millimeter sockets, pry bar or two, ratchets, 3/4 inch wrench to take the sensors off. You need what's this? 21 millimeter and a 13/16 to take the bolts off of the transmission support bracket. This little ratchet was great to take the top off of the transfer case housing. And then also you're going to need a 12 millimeter hex bit socket to take out the two support arms inside the transfer case. And just a tape measure. When I took the transmission bracket off, it was in these bolts, which the impact wrench took off right away. But evidently they installed it at the factory, and when I tried to slip this bolt out, it hit the exhaust pipe, and I wasn't taking the exhaust pipe off, so I just cut the head off of it with my Sawzall and ruined a couple blades, so a grinder might be better for that. And what else? Oh, this is I picked one of these up at Harbor Freight. It's a roller, $30. Saved my back. What a great invention. I had 2 3-ton SUV jacks, so I bought 2 more of those, and I think that was like $50 or so. So I probably have $150, $175 in tools I had to buy to put this project together. And what else do I got in here? The C-clamp. I got this at Pep Boys for $20. It only opens up about an inch. I don't know if it's enough. It was real hard getting that first C-clamp off. The real good ones I think are like $50, $60, but I'm going to try to do the whole project with this cheapie. What I had done was it wasn't opening up that C-clip wide enough, so I had taken some electrical tape and I chiseled off a couple pieces of shims, and I just added onto this. I just taped it onto this thing right here, if I can get it on there, and it actually worked. You know, it just gave me the extra width that I needed on both sides, and it eventually came off. So that worked all right. You know, sure beats paying $70 for a $70 for a pliers. You know, I'm just trying to put this thing together as reasonably priced as I can. I bought all of the materials, the bearings, the chain, that new pump housing kit online, and what else? I bought some grease. I bought new C-clips. I think all the parts came out to be a little bit under $400. So it's about $400 for the parts, $150 for the tools. So I'm about $550 into it. The rebuilds were anywhere from $800 to $1,200, $1,500, and I didn't want to do that. I just would rather just take it apart. You know, I've always done my own repairs on my truck, so I've never done one of these before because I just haven't had the chance. So I hope everything goes well, and that's about it. You know, I'm still waiting for those parts. So maybe I'll take you under the truck and we'll see what's under there. Okay, here is, you know, I've already taken my transfer case out, but I just want to show you what the jack looked like with my little get up over here. Worked out great. As you can see, there's a lot of room to work underneath here. You know, the who said it? I think Splunkard said it at the end that he wished he had 4 big jacks. So I went out and bought 4. My truck to the bottom of the running step is 20 inches. So I have 20 inches of play here. And as you can see, when I take this out of the way, you have a ton of room underneath there with 20 inches. And even better is, like Eric the car guy said, you get rid of that transmission support and you have complete access to those bolts without a problem. It probably took me 15 minutes or so just to take those bolts off. And actually, people were saying the top one was the hardest. The top one was the easiest with that small little ratchet there. And what I did, I had built a little support by 2x12s and just supported the pan a little bit. When I took the support off, the transmission moved a little bit, but it wasn't wasn't that bad. And over here, you can see the 2 holes where the bolts go in. That hole on the right was the bolt that I had to cut off because it was hitting the exhaust pipe back there. And also, when Eric the car guy was redoing the, I think it was a 5.7, he was pulling that Chevy engine and he was taking it apart. He said that you get oil or transmission fluid leaking out of here. So what I had done is, I put my bucket underneath here and I wiggled it a little bit, let it loose, and, sure enough, all the transmission fluid started coming out. And so I let it go for a while, and then I took the bucket away, and then I grabbed the transfer case, pushed it back, and a ton more came out. So that transmission fluid will come out twice on you when you're moving it. And, of course, the second time I didn't have the bucket there. But, everything's a learning experience. And here is the wiring harness, which, thanks to... you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them actually. I took the one from the upper out so I could completely move the wiring harness away from the transfer case, just in case that thing fell down. I didn't want to rip any wires. I've never done this before. So for me, to make things work a lot simpler, sometimes you just got to go that extra mile. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks clean. The splines look good. And hopefully putting it back in will be just as simple. They have that transmission drain hose on top of the transfer case. I don't know why, because it bleeds all that stuff on top of there, and it was just filthy, full of dirt and everything. And I had to cut the transfer case overflow hose with a knife because I couldn't pull it out, and I didn't want to break the little plastic piece on top of the transfer case. So that's not a big deal. There's slag in there, and you could probably cut a 1/2 inch off of there. Over here is where the tension bar is, and it'd be a lot easier to get the thing in and out of there if you pull that out. But that's probably an extra hour's worth of work, and I really don't want to do it. I think I could still slip it in there without a problem, as long as I put the drive shaft point up and then just jack it up. Hopefully it will go in, because it did, when I was lowering it, it did drop a little bit, but you know what, it is what it is. All right, there you go. Okay, I wanted to show you that I think it was a P0446 code on the truck. Is this EVAP? It's not the purge sensor. I think it's the EVAP vent sensor. Like I said before, the new an improved one was $120, and I think this one was like $14, $15. So all I had to do was just I had to cut the old one off. There's a bracket right here on the other side, and I just cut it off and ripped it off, and then I grabbed a piece of 5/8 heater hose and just attached it here, and I pulled out the other plastic holes that runs along the top up here and cut into that, and just used a couple of alligator clips, clipped it up, cleared the cold, and it was all good. So yeah, I'd rather spend $14 than 120 something. So yeah, that worked out great. Okay, and here's how I got rid of the 4x4 service engine light on. It was this 4-button switch here, which all you have to do is just take this little top part out. There's a big glare coming in because the garage door is open. But this just pops right off. There's four little clips in there. You pull it out, you just replace it. It's not that big of a deal. And I probably had that four-wheel service light on for 7 years, and just never fix it. But it's nice to have it off. Let's turn it on and see if anything comes on. That's funny. Oh, can you see that? 204.27. Now all the cables are off of the four-wheel drive, so that's why that light's on, I hope. Alrighty.